allow the two
It's okay. It's okay. Off your mic. It's okay. Off your mic.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go sama us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego diary politico, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. Can in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego diary politico, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. This one not they off in mind, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my egun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my egun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my egun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo. My egun don't come, oh, yo. My people make you shout, oh, yo. My egun don't come, oh, yo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Nayibi #1. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Nayibi #1. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Mayegun diary Nayibi #1. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary Nayibi #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary Nayibi #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary Nayibi #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary Nayibi #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary Nayibi #1. Mayegun diary politico. Mayegun diary Nayibi #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary Nayibi #1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun diary Nayibi #1. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Nayibi #1. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ìgbádìyẹ. Máyégún máa wí. Àníyàn sọ́ra yìí. Máyégún ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Máyégún máa wí. Àníyàn sọ́ra yìí. Máyégún ti dé. Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Máyégún máa wí. Àníyàn sọ́ra yìí. Máyégún
ti dé. Hello there, brethren. So good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And a good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Mayegun live. And thank you very much for joining me and others. After reading the caption of the broadcast, as usual, please read the description of the broadcast as well. Then like it, whichever one you want to do first. Like it, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them to join us. Mayegun today. And thank you if you have done that already. So last night, we were anticipating what their court would say after all argument as well as false witnesses. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the IPOB, indigenous people of Biafra, presented a no-case submission. No-case submission means that due to the process, a legal way, he was abducted, renditioned, they call it extraordinarily renditioned back to Nigeria, makes every legal move that is being embarked upon by this APC, so to say, is ultra fire, meaning it is not legal. So therefore, he had no case to answer. Well, this morning, when the court, resumed, the judge rejected that no submission case and ordered the legal team of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to open their defense, as the prosecution have already closed their own case. So what that means now is that they would have to put up a defense to whatever it is that the prosecution presented, the case of, or the charges of terrorism against Nnamdi Kanu. But his lawyers have a different kind of explanation for what really happened, because according to them, yeah, they rejected this no case submission simply because they said, despite the evidence presented to the court actually denied receiving the evidence that Nnamdi Kanu was renditioned back to Nigeria. So, in their defense, right, in order to still push for a no case, according to his legal team, they would then have to now present or represent this evidence back to the court. So we're going to go to that happened today, from the courtroom to the outside courtroom, add some level, some analysis to it in the middle, right? So first part, at least, let's see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu himself this morning in their court when he arrived, as well as when their case started, or the court test started. So the first part.
How are you? It is well, it is well. Bless you, brother. Bless you. Thank you very much. That's a quick picture.
So that was the brief clip of his arrival, as well as immediately after the court was in session. So Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped from Kenya over 4 years ago, 27th of June, I think, 2021. And at the time, Bokwari was the president of Nigeria. And it was more or less like a trophy for them, because not until when we realized how much resources Bokwari deployed in trying to kill Nnamdi Kanu, kill the Biafran, advocacy. That was when we get to know how serious this actually meant it to Bokwari, and it became the priority of the security agents in Nigeria. They did everything. And at the time, there was not any single unrest or insecurity issue that has to do with any form of armed groups in the eastern part of Nigeria. So they finally captured Nnamdi Kanu using a false intel, something that, okay, I think I shouldn't even use the word captured. It was then abducted by the Kenyan authority based on a false intel. The false intel, which was that Nnamdi Kanu was in Kenya to meet with the terrorists in Kenya, and therefore he is a threat to the national security of Kenya. So when the Kenyan secret police discovered that it was all a ruse, a lie, rather than let him go, they handed him over to the agents, Nigerian agents, who then put him on a private jet, drugged him enough to knock him out, and they flew him to Nigeria. When they got to Nigeria, the initial charges against Nnamdi Kanu by these rogues was that he was planning to topple Bokwari's government, as well as he was trying to break up Nigeria, which the second one is true, but not a crime. However, when they kidnapped him in 2021, they changed it to terrorism and so many other things that they kind of like muddled together. So for over 4 years now, the only evidence they could present in their own court are the publicly available videos of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's, broadcasts. So, but because in their own court, right there in Nigeria, it was discharged and acquitted, right? This was like a year after he was kidnapped. In 2024, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was discharged and acquitted, and it was told, they were told to return him back to wherever they abducted him from, because the process of his arrest, which is an abduction, has sort of nullified every other legal step, or they have been struggling with their own laws and trying to twist their own court in order to just keep him there like a trophy. Like, okay, finally we got him. They celebrated the abduction of Nnamdi Kanu in northern part of Nigeria, more like, anything you could imagine, like they celebrated it. Nnamdi Kanu had nothing to do with them in the northern part of Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu has no business with the northern part of Nigeria. And they are more worried. I'm not saying all of the northern part of Nigeria this time. I'm talking about especially the Fulani terrorists and their apologists. Those who feels like, an average Igbo person is a threat to them, as they are made to believe. But they celebrated it in northern part of Nigeria, to the point that Malamu announced the abduction of Nnamdi Kanu. He announced it in Hausa language, so that for the larger audience in northern part of Nigeria. Anyway, in their own court, they've actually in their own country with their own laws, they violated so many of their own laws with reckless abandon, they will call it. While they also deny him access to proper medical care, which is another thing though. Like if you say someone has committed a crime and you are prosecuting them, would you rather they die than they stay alive to be prosecuted? So we believe that the intention is not really to prosecute, it's called persecution. So Nnamdi Kanu was denied access to medical care despite concerning health issues. They still denied him. And that's part of what they discussed in their court today, by the way, in which the judge, Injustice Omotoso, right? In fact, let me break that down for you so that we don't muddle them up. So you see that part of no case submission, premising their argument on the fact that the process of his abduction, right, even as also kind of like confirmed by their Supreme Court, that the entire process was wrong, and therefore, he has no case. No Nigerian court should actually be trying him. You get what I mean? So the court said, according to the lawyer, so the court said no, they were not convinced. And what sort of conviction do the court need? They want evidence that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was extraordinarily renditioned to Nigeria. Truly, that means he was kidnapped and bundled to Nigeria. So the court wants it in evidence. There is a Federal High Court judgment from Kenya, right, which is to even blame the Kenyan government on their role in abduction of Nnamdi Kanu. So their courts in Nigeria, Omotoso was asking for evidence, and the lawyers were like, they presented their evidence, but they would have to represent the evidence this time around. So they need to prove that Nnamdi Kanu was properly brought to Nigeria, right? He was properly extradited to Nigeria. So, but the lawyers have to prove that no, it wasn't. And the moment the courts admit such evidence, so it is expected that the judge and even the court would have to recuse himself from the case. He would have no jurisdiction. That's what his lawyer said would happen. That would be if this whole thing is about law. We all know it's not about law, right? Yeah. His lawyers.
Well, the ruling is simply requires Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the defendant, to enter his defense. It's not a pronunciation of guilt or not guilty. So that is why it's called a no-case submission. So the judge made a ruling that there's a prima facie evidence that needs to be explained. So in common parlance, it calls on him to come and mount his own defense. But there is the other aspect of the ruling that concerned extraordinary rendition. That very one is one that compounded us, because the extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is so open and notorious. Two international institutions or two separate panels of the United Nations have made pronouncements regarding his extraordinary rendition and called for his unconditional release. Nigeria is a member of the United Nations and therefore bound to consider that and implement that decision. And in Nigeria here, 3 courts have made similar pronouncements. First was by the Federal High Court of Umuahia, which awarded him 500 million naira. And the Court of Appeal also pronounced that he was a victim of extraordinary rendition. And in the Supreme Court, the same Supreme Court that sent this case back to trial, reached the same conclusion, that he was a victim of extraordinary rendition. And all these things are of the record. They are all in the file. And we remember when this trial was being conducted, these very documents were tendered in evidence. So it compounded us, it confused us, that the court now made a pronouncement that the extraordinary rendition had no evidence before the court, that no evidence of it was submitted before the court. And you remember, least but not the last, recently a Kenyan High Court made the same pronouncement. But well, if the court was misled by believing by mistake that these things were not in evidence, it also said and left the door open that such evidence be submitted. So we are coming back with that evidence, and it's going to be quantum and legion.
What about the first application on the enemy?
Well, that one too, it wasn't in evidence that the Nigerian Medical Association has intervened. So it came as a surprise, but there's a short date given of 8 days for the NMA to submit its report. So somebody is ill, you know, I don't think NA is going to change much of that. But I think the judge wanted to leave the record open to admit every possible evidence regarding this matter. But meantime, we are disappointed. Our client remains ill and remains detained. And we're not happy about that. His situation requires urgent and emergent care. So whatever the court says today does not mean that the government shall withdraw back. Just 2 days ago, I wrote a letter. A private hospital has also expressed readiness to admit him here in Abuja. For security reasons, I won't mention the name of the private hospital. But the government, if the government appears to have issues with taking him to the national hospital, we have given them an option of a private hospital also here in Abuja.
So it's safe to say that the application to be transferred to the national hospital was rejected?
Rejected? No, it's pending. Yes.
One other information.
It hasn't been rejected. It's pending. It's pending the admission of this report from the Nigerian Medical Association and the opinion of the Nigerian Medical Association. And you know, if you were in court, the judge had ordered that the committee or panel to be considered by the Nigerian Medical Association shall have a member from the National Hospital. So National Hospital is still in play.
One other information, please. One other information. We are saying that the judge has no jurisdiction whatsoever to try Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because that particular issue of being a victim of extraordinary rendition must be determined, and that one will be whether they will be the one that will confer jurisdiction on the court. And the court said there is no evidence before him. Now we are going to supply evidence before him that Nnamdi Kanu was extraordinary rendition. Then, having done that, there is no case to answer. So that you should go home with that. And if they fail to do otherwise, we will not see it as a war against the Igbos.
Yeah, you have to sprinkle that into it. You know, if you have a case against someone and it is watertight case, I don't think it should take about 4.5 years. Oh, hang on, not 4.5 years. I don't think it should take over 10 years. Do you know that since APC, Egbekegbe, came to power from December 2015, they have been after this Nnamdi Kanu. So by December this year, it is going to be exactly 10 years. It will be 10 years since APC, Egbekegbe, unleashed terror on the the Biafrans. At least. I don't think it should take 10 years. It should, if you have real evidence. But the bottom line is that, no, it is not about prosecuting him. It is either to get him killed or lock him up for as long as they want, until somebody else will now come in and just be like, oh yeah, you know what? We are sorry for the way you are treated. Okay, sorry about that. Please just go. And that is why the Eastern governors have been talking about political solution, because they are raising the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in gatherings like just side talk. But they are making it, but they want to make everyone believe that, oh, we are having discussion with the highest authority. So the government of Nigeria ensured that there is a judicial compromise, manipulation enough, yeah, that their law doesn't really matter. Somebody is in the custody of the DSS, and why is that? And then the Nigerian DSS is not supposed to be like a withholding agency, if not because of this abuse of power that has become. So then the court became so powerless before the DSS that the request to transfer him away from these criminals, right, was completely rejected. Okay, fine. For whatever reason that you had to do, you had to insist. Great. Now this person is not feeling well. It's not fine. It's got, organ, what do you call it? Some organ issues that needed to be examined and possibly medicated properly in the proper hospital. Under your own, by your own kind of like a rules, but just let him have access to medical care. And they insisted, no. Their own physician, DSS physician, also said, it would be good if he could go to the proper hospital for check. His legal team suggested that, hey, if you think logistically, taking him to National Hospital, or what do you call it, Abuja, right? We could make arrangement with private hospitals. But they are worried, they are afraid of what? That he may escape from their grip or what? Because last time they attempted to kill him, this was in Abia State, right? When they attempted to kill him, how he managed to get away from their grip remained a mystery that I bet they have been asking him since the last time they kidnapped him from Kenya. And yeah, one of his solicitors believed that, hey, come on, man, who is a dumb? Knowing what is going on in this country, the court said they wanted an evidence. You need to give us evidence, not just that we know or we heard. No. Give the evidence of. Did they sign paper when they kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya? Like Kenya authority, or they signed paper. Nigeria signed and said, yeah, okay, this is the paper that we both signed. That, okay, you handed him over to us. Kenyan authority kept denying until it became a case in their country. And the government had to send a lawyer. Then they admitted. Then they started kind of giving all this inconsistent information about what they did to Nnamdi Kanu. At the end of the day, their own court found them guilty, and their role they played. In Kenya, so a judge in Nigeria is not aware of that. Are there no court documents about when they kidnapped him in 2021? Right? They took him straight to one court. Binta, was that not Binta Nyako? Yeah, Binta Nyako. They took him to her, who granted the DSS the right to keep him for as long as they wanted. Then he now ruled. I don't know. I think she ruled that Nnamdi Kanu had a case to answer, something like this too. Then the case got to the appeal court. 2022, appeal court said he had no case to answer. Truly, that there's anyone who knows their law in that contraption. Once they present Nnamdi Kanu's case before you, you should at least be honest enough that you have no jurisdiction to touch him. The only way you can touch him in Nigeria, if Nigeria is a lawful place, so would be if they have already instituted a case against him, either in the UK or in Kenya, to file for his extradition. That is to say, they must have found him guilty of the reason why he has to be extradited, right? Then a judge would have ordered that he should be taken back to Nigeria. They will do all the paperwork, everything. Then you take him to Nigeria. That is when you can now present him before any court or any judge for any crime in Nigeria. They didn't do that. I'm not a lawyer, but I mean, come on. They've been trying to go through it and all that, ignored as many laws as possible. And these same characters are the ones who are telling you that you are overreacting. Because you saw the Fulani terrorist, armed terrorists, doing peace talk in the open. They are doing Operation Safe Corridor for killers, for murderers, for kidnappers, right? And there's none of them in any court right now standing trial for all the people they have killed. In that same Nigeria, military be spokesperson for terrorists. They defend them on national television, providing solutions on how to placate terrorists, on how to appease them on national television. And the same set of people are denying their normal rule of law for a man they call terrorist too, right? Who's got his own lawyers, who's got his own followers, who have millions of people who actually look up to him all over the world. Yet their law is, crooked, compromised. So I'm not surprised if a member of his legal team believes that the reason why he is being treated this way is because he's an Igbo man. It is very hard not to actually think it that way. Very tough not to. Yeah? I mean, we have other people they are persecuting. None of them has been treated the way they have treated Nnamdi Kanu. And you can attest to that, yeah? Even their own law, in their own country, in their own courts, has become so compromised deliberately, purposely, just to lock him up, deny him access to medical care. Anyway, Omotoso said he has mandated the Nigerian Medical Association to set up a panel in 8 days and report back to him and confirm the state of health of Nnamdi Kanu. So on that issue of having him transferred to main hospitals for care, for checks and all of that, right, hasn't been ruled on. But here is the man who represents his constituency from Abia.
I know whom I am not. I have South for a constituency, the National Assembly. I am the primary representative of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We're very disappointed in the ruling of the court today, where especially the court took a position that the extraordinary rendition was not going to be part of the consideration today. But he, however, to be fair to him, said if we can prove that there were extraordinary rendition, then that would change his consideration. So we are coming back. I've been assured by the lawyers that they are coming back to show that proof. One, the issue of jurisdiction. We will now know whether this court has jurisdiction or not. That's number one. Then number two, there seems, I keep saying it, there seems to be two sets of rules in this country. One for the Igbo man and the other one for every other Nigerian. Where every other Nigerian gets a reprieve, the Igbo man would not get a reprieve. You look at even the issue of the health situation of our brother. There have been many circumstances where people have been given opportunities to go and seek medical care, yet Nnamdi Kanu is denied. Even the president, at every consideration, the president goes overseas to take care of himself. He doesn't even subject himself to Nigerian medical attention. So it is very wrong for them to deny Nnamdi, who the doctors have laid clear evidences that he's having insufficiencies, organ insufficiencies. And what is the government waiting for? For him to die? And then the circumstances will now be brought up again? So, but for the Igbos, I'm more disappointed with the Igbos. The political leadership of the Igbo land, the spiritual and otherwise concerned are keeping quiet, extraordinarily quiet, on the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, especially when it is shown that when it concerns to others, especially in the north, the government is negotiating with terrorists, non-terrorists, dressed up who with guns and having.
So that was kind of like cropped out. I tried my best to save it, but it was too late. But the audio was perfect, so I left it. You know, that's the guy who represents the constituency of Nnamdi Kanu in Abia State, Abia North, I think, federal constituency. And he's kind of been very consistent. He's been very much around. Every time he's had a court appearance, he's always been around. And it's very hard not to think like that. So put a shoe on, put that tight shoe on that foot that it hurts, then you can understand. Like, you have somebody in your court, he's committed a crime allegedly, and it's taking you over 4 years in the last count, and over 10 years overall in trying to prove what you said he did and all that. So the purpose is not really to have him face justice or get justice. It is practically to silence him and possibly kill him, and at the same time kill kill his advocacy, his goal, his vision, and all of that about Biafra. And it's proving difficult, I want to say, to achieve for them. And that's why sometimes you wonder what is Tifnubu's business in all of this? There could be some political implications for him if he decided to just smash the jar and just say, you know what, to hell. So now Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is someone they want to use for their political bargaining. Do you get it now? So I think probably Kalu will be taunting them in northern Nigeria with, if you do anyhow, I will just release Nnamdi Kanu, kind of. So the lawlessness, the level of impunity that you watch from far, if you are paying attention, are enough to give everything up that, man, this is not a real place. Pray this contraption never happened to you. Just pray. And that's one thing about injustice as well. You see, the whole world is watching, the young, the old, even in Nigeria, everybody is watching. And the actions of these lawless rogues, APC, Egbekegbe, and their affiliates, right, is that they are constantly, right? It might be slow, but they are constantly, like consistently, they are radicalizing even more and more people that, man, by the time they matured enough, right, these guys won't be able to handle them. Then they will be more violent. They will probably have no chance of conversation at all. And that's what they are doing. Because to them, right, they have the power to lock you up for as long as they want. Not even the court can free you. Not even the court. If they really have interest in you, right, not even the court can free you. That's lawlessness. It radicalizes the citizens. And others will realize that the only language they understand is violence. If you want to have anything to do with the Nigerian, Nigerian criminal rulers or ruiners, you shouldn't be using microphone. What do you call it? Stop using microphone, camera, and laptop. All right, get yourself some. You know what I mean? Because that's the only language they will understand. With that, they will probably want to have a conversation with you. They are radicalizing their people. And I kind of have an idea possibly how this is going to end, right? So we are now going to be looking forward to a day that will be announced, which is going to be the beginning of the opening of a defense. They've already told us what they intend to do. If the court says they need evidence that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was extraordinarily renditioned back to Nigeria, then that may change everything. Well, if that is the case, they have promised, right, to supply the courts with barrage of that evidence, enough for the judge, right, even if he is blind, enough for him to see this time around and not say there is no proof, there is no evidence that he was kidnapped in Kenya, right? So Dangote and PENGASSAN, this is just passing news, by the way. Things have gone, they don't turn to head though. You know, last 2 weeks, it was a back and forth sort of like fight between the union called the PENGASSAN and Dangote refinery. Let me give you a quick, refresh your memory, right? Or a quick recap. So Dangote, after his refinery was ready, went on to go and sign a partnership deal with so many oil retailers, outlets, or those filling stations, right? So, there was some important group. They are called the truckers. I mean, they call them truckers. You know, those are the guys who drives the truck. They are called the oil marketers or whatever other name they give to them. They are the middlemen, right? So somehow Dangote, who possibly got an advice that these guys are compromised and maybe corrupt, and they could sabotage his operation. There's a difference between sourcing your crude oil from America, bringing the crude oil to Nigeria, refining the crude oil and the rest of that, the products, and now to distribute the product becomes a bigger problem, simply because there is a group called, yeah? So to solve that problem, Dangote decided to go and buy 10,000 trucks. He made a deal with this, oil outlets, 6 of them. I actually have in a name. I've always wanted to announce the names as they are. Dangote himself, Dangote refinery advertised it himself, right? So, hang on, name of this station. So, Connoy, they have Connoy, Eternal PLC, that's also a petrol station, right? They've got Golden Super, they've got Nepal, Nepal Energies, they've got Kifayat Global Energy, they have a Request Oil and Gas, they have another one called Emadeb Energy Services Limited. These are filling stations all over the country. It's like, what do you call that thing again? No, franchise, right? Like you have this Total, and you see Total everywhere. Sort of, okay. So the deal then is, how do they get the products to them? So Dangote ordered 10,000 trucks, and 4,000 arrived, meaning he could personally deliver the product to his to the retailers, straight to the pump. And that made the PENGASSAN irrelevant, sort of. So 1 month short, they now said, okay, if that's going to be the case, we need to protect the interest of the workers, those who are going to be working for you. And it was like, they were protected. They were all right. Said, no, they are not. So it became an issue that Dangote was said to have partially agreed that if you are working for him and you want to join the union or PENGASSAN, wherever, you can go ahead. But they have their own union in Dangote workforce, right? And Dangote believed that their interest is protected. Anyway, government intervened, called both parties, had this tete, and it seemed that it was resolved. The following day, Dangote said something like, the following day, PENGASSAN said, oh, they are no longer going to fight the Dangote. So they put their trucks blocking the entrance of his refinery, right? And they said he has agreed to have the PENGASSAN as partners, as well as the staff to join the union. Then a few days later, Dangote's nephew, being a brother, being a cousin, I don't know. So Dangote's relative, who is believed to be in charge of the refinery, just called their bluff and told them that if anybody come near, if any PENGASSAN come near that refinery, they go shoot them. Well, I started again. Also, along the line, remember they said that the agreement they had with, the agreement they signed with the ministers of labor and whatever was that in the next 27 days, all the staff who want to join the union should go and join. So I think people were joining. Now that Dangote changed his mind, he did not oppose anybody joining PENGASSAN. No. It's just that he just decided to sack all of those who are Nigerians working in the refinery, 100% of them. That was a shocker. What? What? Yeah, they've sacked us, so we don't get any right to even discuss here anymore. He's sacked us. That is the big test. How is that possible? Why? How could he do that? They said it is because they ended up going on to sign up for the union. Now, PENGASSAN had put out a statement, I think. They put out a statement, and according to them, Dangote no be good person. See, they said, on today's happenings at Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals, following the successful unionization of Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemical workers, the appointment of caretaker committees of the branch executive council, and the submission of batch 1 of the unionized members list to management on 25th September 2025, we regret to inform you of the following unfortunate developments. 1. Management verification exercise. Management physically attempted to verify whether staff voluntarily consented to join PENGASSAN by circulating a list for staff to confirm their membership. Then they called the members meeting. A meeting was held with members, during which they were asked to indicate their membership in PENGASSAN. Overwhelmingly, staff at the refinery affirmed yes. Withdrawal of staff buses. At about 5 p.m., we received information that management sent a directive that all shift buses were under maintenance and that workers should use their personal funds for transportation to work. Members had to spend up to 4,000 naira to report to duty. Despite this provocation, our members were calm and non-confrontational and still made sacrifices to ensure they were present at work. Then the naira of entry into refinery. Later in the evening, between 6:30 p.m. and 7 p.m. today, staff who had joined PENGASSAN were denied entry into the refinery and were informed that it was on the orders of Alhaji Aliko Dangote and only expatriates, Indians, Pakistanis, and other nationals were permitted to enter. Mass termination notice. At about 9:59 p.m. today, this was yesterday, workers received a mass termination email. The termination letter was addressed to all staff of Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals. Hello, about. So targeted intimidation of union leaders. We intercepted an internal directive to the security department ordering the arrest and detention of the caretaker committee chairman by the general manager, human asset management. This is a direct act of intimidation against union leaders. Current situation and constitutional breach. There are indications that further dismissals will be communicated tomorrow, deepening the attack on workers' rights and union activities. These actions by Aliko Dangote are in direct violation of Section 40 of the 1999 Constitution, 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which guarantees every citizen the right to freely assemble and associate, including forming or belonging to a trade union for the protection of their interests. Conclusion: these events clearly amount to targeted intimidation and victimization of workers for exercising their constitutional right to freedom of association. The caretaker committee, the blah, the blah, the blah. So what they said Dangote told them was that, fine, if all of you want to go and join union, great. I'm going to go and hire those who don't want to join union, because I don't want union. Alaji, why did you agree to union? And they've started the process of unionizing. What changed? They have been debating that on social media, especially Twitter, since morning. Why the good, the advantages, disadvantages of union? Now union kill Bata. Now union kill Nigeria dog. Now union kill Nigeria. Now union, everyone shall talk about what union do. Now union kill share. Like, on top of this union, no union, no. So Alaji Dangote was like, hey, if all of you want to go and join union, because he's the guy who is, I don't know, like his own level of capitalism, which is not capitalism, rather it is a quota system, sort of like wealth gatekeeping. It's quota system. So I don't know. It's reported that, even though they are like expatriates, they say, right? So it is reported that Dangote prefers to work with the Indians, the Pakistanis. They call them the expatriates. They are the ones who are, you know, running the things there. Nigerians are just ant-men, kind of. Ant-men in the sense that they are replaceable. That's the point. So sack 4,000 or 5,000 of them now. Tomorrow morning, you can see 400,000 at your gates, ready to replace them. And who is protecting them? Union. Is the union protecting them? Well, I think so. Yeah. But let's go to Ibadan. Yeah. Should we stay up there a bit? No, let's go to Ibadan. Today, the governor of Ibadan, the governor for Oyo, Solomon Kende Ibadan, gave the staff of office to the 44th Olubadan, that is the former governor as well, Rashid Ladoja, as the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan. So therefore, today was a busy day in Ibadan. Kolu was there. He left Abuja, this afternoon, and they got to Ibadan half an hour or an hour later, and then headed straight to the venue and everything that happened there. So me, I get some clips. They're longer watch though, right? From Abuja to Ibadan and everything else that happened. Just focus somewhere else. Kolu.
Thank you, Excellency.
What idiot ni bọ̀bọ̀ ọlọ́kadà yìí o. Ọmọ. Báwa. Ní òkú tí. Wọ́n pẹ̀ nìyẹn. Ó ti lọ. Gọ́vnọ̀ nìyẹn. Ẹ̀wọ̀. Number one. Ọ̀gbẹ́ni. Má jẹ́ ìròyìn mi tó wá pọ̀pọ̀. Àwọn tí ò gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ kan, àwọn òwe tó gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ kan tó lọ. Union làwọn ẹni.
Ibẹ̀ ni gómìnà wa. Nàìjíríà ló dé yìí. Ó nìyẹn Tinubu nìyẹn.
Welcome,
Shall we please rise to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, please make welcome His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, TCFR, the Lord City Hall.
It's a long watch. I had to match most of give me a sec. I had to match most of the clips. Then the other part of the clip is the coronation proper, and then the giving of the staff of office, I think, as well, and what Kalu told them, and what did the Olubado himself asked for as his own main plea. Plea to Tifnumbu. So we're going to go to that part now. This is where, the Olubado said it is tradition, right? So he was expected to prostrate 3 times before he's crowned, right? So he's expected to prostrate 3 times. And that will be the last time he's going to ever prostrate for any human being until he dies. Tradition, right? So in sequence like that, put them together. Let's watch that because of the time, right? Let's go back to Ibadan. Kalu and others.
While we await the #1 citizen of Nigeria, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed and Unarmed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, TCFR, and of course, his staff entourage, as well as our governor here in your state, the one and only GSL, His Excellency Governor Sheyi Makinde, and President to say Sheyi Eda. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The Lord
Hi, Engineer Seyi Makinde, the Governor of Oyo State of Nigeria, in exercise of the powers conferred upon me by subsections 1 and 2 of Section 20 of the Chief's Law, Cap 28, Volume 1, Laws of Oyo State of Nigeria 2000, and by virtue of all other powers enabling in that behalf, I hereby present the staff of office to Oba, His Imperial Majesty, Senator, Governor, present the staff of office to Oba, His Imperial Majesty, Senator, Governor, Engineer, my Baba,
Ogo,
His Imperial Majesty Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja Arusa the First,
Ogo,
this is in confirmation of the party recognized status of the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan land. I so present.
Ladoja Ogo, 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 Ladoja Ogo, Ogo, Ose Senator, Ose Governor, Otu Wadaba, Ogo, Ogo, Amamada, Ogo, Ogo, Ladoja, Ogo, Ogo, Ose ṣe sínétọ̀, ó tún ṣe gọ́vnọ̀. Ògo, 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 ògo. Lálọ́jà, ó jẹ̀ ikú náà o, jẹ̀ ikú náà o, ó jẹ̀ ikú náà o. Àjàǹkó dùgbẹ́dùgbẹ́, arúgbó ẹ̀ bọ́dà náà o. Àjàǹkó dùgbẹ́dùgbẹ́.
Anyway, again, that's just to put the whole thing together, the much I could put together. So leave it in the diary. So that in years to come, we can always go back to it and just sit down and watch, like, you know. So Oba Rashidi Ladoja, right, was a senator, a governor of the state, and now the paramount ruler of the city of Ibadan, as Olubadan of Ibadan. His first request from Kolu was that Kolu should ensure he gives them the Ibadan state, at least before he leaves office. His first request.
Mr. President, wọ́n ní nítorí àwọn ológun ní Ìbàdàn state. Àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́? Àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ ìyẹn Ìbàdàn? Àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́? Tó wá pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni jọ. Tó wá pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹ dìde kẹ́ ẹ bá mi kí president pé o ṣé o. Ẹ̀yin ọmọ Ìbàdàn dìde.
Tinubu o ṣé o, ti fún wa ní state o.
O ṣé o.
Tinubu ẹ ṣé o.
President gbà.
President ti dìde ṣé o.
Ní problem pẹ̀lú National Assembly torí pé káyé pé àwọn kan náà wọn ò gbà ká lọ ní kìbádà ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tá a ní Ìbàdàn state àwọn kan náà tún sọ pé àwọn náà tún fẹ́ ní Ọ̀yọ́ state so omi ó sọ pé gbogbo wa ní a fẹ́ ká pín Ọ̀yọ́ state sí méjì kò sí nǹkan ó dá mi lórí pé tá a bá máa wá pé ìpínlẹ̀ kan ṣoṣo ni Bọ́lá Tinubu máa dálẹ̀ Ìbàdàn state ló máa jẹ́. Mr. President.
Yeah. So the new king asked the people to stand up and say thank you to Tinubu because it's guaranteed that he is going to give them Ibadan state before he leaves office, I think. Right? And to call, he said a lot of things. I mean, he addressed the ceremony too. But the highlight of his own, that is spewed there is this one. And it is just to remind you that, listen, I came here, I told you that Milokon. Now I am there now. So things may be a little bit hard, tough. Don't worry. It's always going to get better. And he likened what Nigerians are passing through to having a surgery. Okay, you just had an operation, a surgery. So at first it's going to be painful, then it's going to heal, and the next thing is going to be prosperity and the blah, the blah, the blah. Call you in 55 seconds.
To many of you here present again, today I'm honored and I'm very proud to give you the cheering news that the economy has turned the corner. There's a bright light at the end of the tunnel. Your suffering is a pain of a painful surgery. But it's now returned to the moment of growth and prosperity is awaiting us ahead. Thank you for your perseverance. Thank you for your endurance. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you. God bless you. God bless or your state. God bless the Oba.
Thank you. God bless everybody. Painful surgery. About your more painful surgery. Surgery shouldn't be painful, though. Even though, yeah, you could have serious surgery, life, threatening surgeries. To say it's risky, but shouldn't be painful. If it's painful, it's no longer surgery. You get what I mean? Well, whatever that means to those of you who look up to Kolu, at least 2 years is not enough to do. Abi? So another 2 years will just be like you wait, and if he managed to rig himself back in 2027, now him say on still get like a 5.5 years with Kolu. No. Yeah. 5.5 years. We'll leave that quickly, because in that same venue, the official musician, I think, for the ceremony was a Thai currency, right? So at a point, as much as I couldn't really understand what is kind of like singing, all of them just mumbled together, right? However, this part seems to interest me when he started singing, "We're laughing, we're laughing, we're." Didn't make any real sense, but lyrically, I don't know.
Wèrè la fi ń wo wèrè. Wèrè la fi ń wo wèrè. Wèrè la fi ń wo wèrè. Ẹ wo, ẹ lè fẹ́ mi láyà, mi ò ní sọ̀rọ̀ o. Ṣùgbọ́n tẹ́ bá gbàṣẹ́ mi, a máa jà. Tẹ́ bá gbàṣẹ́ mi, torí pé wèrè la fi ń wo wèrè. Wèrè la fi ń wo wèrè. Wèrè la fi ń wo wèrè.
You understand? So it's quite interesting, right? So in that same breath, there's also a conversation around why is it that Tinubu has been avoiding the US? Do you get what I mean? Like, yeah, we could probably have speculations and whatever. But why is he avoiding the US? Okay. People have their own different sort of like reasons that they've managed to develop. However, there's this professor, he was on channels last night. And we were talking about this UNGA 80, the United Nations General Assembly meeting, with the one that Shitty Man is currently representing Kolu. It's crazy though, right? I'll come back to that. Why is Kolu not there and Shitty Man is there? Now, Shitty Man went to the United Nations, okay, to talk about, the people of Gaza, the Palestine, and how over 140 countries have now recognized Palestine, and why the people of Palestine, the people of Gaza, deserves, their own right to life and all of that. Beautiful speech. However, this is the Shitty Man, right? Coming from northern Nigeria. Throughout everything Shittiman said in that speech, purportedly speaking on behalf of Tifnumbu, there was no single mention of Nigeria security challenges and what have you. There was no request from the United Nations to say Nigeria and these West African countries need help too. We need to combat terrorism, Islamic jihadism, all this stuff, right? No. We are passionately talking about Palestine, Gaza, and they want a seat at the at the United Nations Security Council. They want a seat. Country that is hobnobbing with the terrorists, planning to build ranches for terrorists. The one that is pardoning terrorists, doing peace deal with terrorists, want a seat on the United Nations Security Council. However, this professor on Channels Television was like, it's actually good that if nobody didn't go to America, and it's good that he is avoiding America, considering the fact that Trump is the president right now. Imagine a situation where Trump, by any chance, bumped into Tifnumbu. What do you really think will happen? I don't know if Tifnumbu is terrified of Trump. I don't know. Oh, Papa. So this professor now said, hey, that is a good thing because Trump right now, right, is, somebody who doesn't really care about protocol, about diplomacy or anything. So he could single out a Tifnumbu and you know that he could finish Tif. He didn't say it like that. Okay. But maybe I should let you listen. Right? Let's see if I see out that in here.
So, but you have emphasized the fact that we have the capacity, we have the resilience, but there are those who query the absence of Mr. President at such a high-level meeting of world leaders. They argue that perhaps this would have been his second meeting at the assembly. They argue that perhaps if he was on ground, he could have emphasized those meetings, the need for a place for a seat for Nigeria at the UN Security Council. They argue that as well. Perhaps we would have seen him engage more with the big boys, the Donald Trumps of US, the Emmanuel Macron of France, and all the world leaders, compared to what the vice president, with all due respect to him, and some of the meetings he has had to hold in the last 2 days. I wonder how you respond to that, Prof.
You see, I quite agree with your analytical approach to it, in the sense that in international protocol, in international relations, in international law and relations, at those 3 levels, you see, water must always find its own level. That's what we have been taught in chemistry, ordinary level chemistry. Water will find its own level. When you are not a president of a sovereign state, the extent to which you can meet with the sovereign leaders, no, you must go, operate at a particular level. In diplomacy, when you go to any reception, for instance, you cannot have a third secretary going to sit or discuss with a minister counselor. You don't do that one. When you are a counselor, you try to find your camarade, your level. So in this case, a vice president going there cannot easily interact with the people who are senior to him. So at that level, I agree with you. But when you look at the other aspect, why is our own Bola Ahmed Tinubu not going? It may be a strategy itself. One, at the level of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is an unpredictable president. Donald Trump thinks after action. He thinks after action, but he does not think well before action. He's a president that can thoroughly embarrass our own president, find unnecessary excuses for whatever. because Nigeria appears to be towing a sort of an independentist, line when it comes to the conduct and management of international affairs. Donald Trump doesn't like this. Donald Trump wants to be seen as the primus inter pares in international relations. So in this case, this is the second time our president will not be attending. But what does that mean, really? What is it that is in his head for not going? The ideal thing would have been to be there, okay.
Oh dear.
Prof, yes.
Yeah.
Prof, I mean, always a delight to listen to Prof do this analysis. Always a delight to. All right.
And just to imagine what Nigeria.
I think
is Prof back?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Go ahead, Prof. I just conclude on your submission so we can squeeze in more questions, please.
Okay. Yes, I'm trying to say that at the end of the day, when you are seen to be at par with your colleagues, if he is there, in which way are you going to say that Donald Trump is better than Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria? He is not. And I can tell you that Ahmed Tinubu is as intelligent, if not more intelligent than Donald Trump. He's more cautious. He's more strategic in his approach. But when you are absent, then you...
Oh, they tried the professor. I know that trying to kind of like slow down, though. But it's not totally wrong. In fact, it's not wrong when it comes to his analysis on both Trump and Tinubu and Nigeria precisely. So Nigeria seemed to have always been a non-partisan, approaching a non-partisan way in their diplomacy. You know what I mean? So it is Nigeria that will do business with Russia, China, America, UK, Saudi Arabia, and just name it, India. And then you get to realize that, there is this wahala between India and America. Or there's this one between this China and America and all of that. So for Donald Trump, you are either here or you are there. There is no in between. The kind of a diplomatic thing that is really causing ripples right now. You get what I mean? But that being intelligent, I want that to calm down. No, being cautious in this sense is also debatable. There is a level of I don't know how that is, so, but there seems to be this level of inferiority complex. I don't know. A few times that Tinubu had appeared in all their international meet that he went himself, like G20, all this stuff that, yeah. So we've had where Tinubu was more or less like almost disappeared in a group photograph. It was more or less like somebody they dragged in last. So, you are also president. Come and stand here now, kind of. You know? And you know why I'm laughing, right? I remember someone who was so pissed at me. I don't know what I was probably saying that day. I don't know the topic, right? So that person must have been so pissed at me that his comment was like, my friend, shut up, Joe. You and this girl, you know. And he typed that, you know, with comma, you know. I just started laughing. I was like, you must have been so pissed enough that you started feeling like you started noticing the, humor now. You get there. Do you understand? It's a kind of like, I don't know. It's just to make conversation easier. I don't have to say everything. That's what it means. So, yeah, I get it. You get it? Yeah, I get it. Anyway, so the thing there is that Tinubu had been seen, we have seen him in some kind of like high-level gatherings, when not with Trump though, but with Joe Biden, at least he had one meet with Joe Biden, not in the US, but I think it was in Brazil or Japan. I don't know. It's always been like, remember that picture that he went to, was it Japan? G20 or something. And he was just standing like next to this, what do you call it, this standing bar or something. He was just like, probably just forgotten that he's also a president. Oh, you get what I mean? Call. Anyway, leaving that behind, because some people will, I think his own advisors they've already told him, right? No, don't avoid him. You can do without America, even though they can't really do it. They can't really do without America per se, but you can do without Trump. Just don't touch him. Ignore him, and over time, it will pass, I think. But let's leave that and hope that they won't meet. Not now. Okay. The staff of Ahoda, and I kind of like to pronounce it the way it is spelled, right? I don't know if it's pronounced as Ahoda or Ahoda, local government. His name is Chidi Lloyd. It's a local government area in Rivers State. I didn't even know that Chidi Lloyd was among those people. They selected their names as new local government chairman. The election conducted by the sole administrator, right? Until now. So there's some 300 member of staff have not been paid. And they strongly believe that the local government has been collecting allocation. So why is he not paying them? So they have to go physical in this short, brief clip. I don't understand. But they said they were not paid. And I'm like, I mean, the money is not in the office. So there must be a payment system where their salaries are paid. Others were like, no, they are political workers that were not paid. Anyway, it's about money. Someone not being paid after working. The opposition in Nigeria are also, gathering their own momentum little by little. Sometimes it can be loud. Sometimes it can be a little bit, medium, sort of. So what happened then was yesterday. It was this short clips of Goodluck Jonathan meeting with David Mark. David Mark is the interim chairman of ADC, their planned coalition party. And according to them, every one of the key players in their coalition, including Peter Obi, have all agreed that whoever becomes the party's presidential candidate will be supported, embraced by all of them without leaving. So there's also a part which started, kind of the story that started developing early this year, when a group of northern youth traveled down to Utuoke to invite Jonathan to run for second term. And this was also, I don't know if you remember, this was also around the time when Peter Obi said he would be willing to spend just a term, 4 years in office, and give the power back to northern Nigeria if he is given the opportunity in 2027. Now, the conversation around one term for, like, if this northern Nigeria, this northern political bloc that are threatening to pull out their support for Tifnumbu, sure you get, and back at the coalition. So if they are to support the Southern, who is going to have to come and do just 4 years to complete the 8 years of the South, who would they trust? Right? So from this PDP group that traveled to Tuoke to go and see Jonathan, invited him to come and run under PDP, because to them, constitutionally, Peter Obi, if he becomes your president in 2027, he has the right to be there till 2035. So it is tough to believe that he would relinquish the power after 4 years. But they could trust that of Jonathan, because according to them, with Jonathan, he's only got just 4 years more to go. And this whole chat last night, right? It surfaced. It was Jonathan visiting the interim chairman of ADC, David Mark, and immediately speculation mills started rolling out. Oh yeah, maybe he's going to be partnering with the coalition. He's going on a lot. This was the video.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So you get, and you know, every move right now, people will read a lot of meanings into it, but not reading meaning to it at all. Could actually be your own undoing too. Because for everything that you see, they are not just by chance. They are not coincidence. They are all pre-planned. And one after the other, right? You get to see the whole picture, I think. So yeah. In the next 2 months, was it like November? Yeah, that will be 2 months. So give it next 2 months. You get to see or begin to see even more, unraveling, including Tifnubu himself and his camp. It's going to get to that, it's going to get to that moment where you begin to notice the building pressure and who is under pressure and who is pressuring who. Yeah, you can start noticing that from November. But we'll leave that too, as we are coming close to the end of the broadcast. Somebody shared this video and says it's part of Abuja. Yeah. And I'm like, really? Like you got this part inside Abuja, the federal capital? It was my reaction that I got. The person's like, why are you reacting like that? Like, are you surprised? I said, yeah. This one, Yanya. It's called Yanya. And I'm like, Asao now? That's the seat of power, the Federal Capital Territory. They said, no, it's outside Abuja. It's outside, but is it under Abuja? They said it's under Abuja, but it's outside. You want to see the beautiful place. It's like saying Lagos mainland, and then you get to Okoko, Maiko. Okoko, all those Okoko, Agbara, all those places in Ogun State, they are close. They are like not Lagos. You get what I mean? But this one is not even like that. It's not like that to Lagos. You know? And I'm very sure the reason why places like that exist is because your government officials, when they want to come into the city or leave the city, that is never their route. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's never their route. Because if you have to see their roads to the airport, beautiful. Their roads to the city gate, from the city gate, fantastic. For those of you who are living outside there, right? I don't know why they do that though. Like, a friend who just came from Nigeria to do his master's here, he arrived middle of this month, right? And he stayed back in London. No, sorry, he stayed back in Manchester for like maybe, in England, he stayed there for like about 2 days. Then he came to Scotland, right? Spent just about 2 days as well. And in that brief stay and travel, he observed that it seems like the development is almost the same everywhere. Like, you get to move from one town. In the UK here, you move from one town to another town. If it's a small town, they have a city, they have a town center. If it is a kind of like a city, they have different city centers scattered all over the place, where you get to see all these beautiful, fancy buildings and other shops, malls, and then you see residential areas, high-rise building. And then you get to the when you are moving away from the city, you begin to see that, you know, the development there is similar to what it is like when you are approaching the same city or this town. That is the same. You have Asda in any small town in England. You come to Scotland and you go to any small town, there's a chance you are going to see either Asda, Tesco, Lidl, all those stores. You're going to see either of them or even all of them. And it is this, you know, to him, it's like, why can't we just be like that? That, well, don't worry, you have a lot to ask yourself. Since you are here to do your master's, you're going to be here for another 3 years, yeah? That's the reason why I started my Egun's Diary Political when I got to this country, and I was like, so this is the UK. No doubt, right? I was kind of like wowed. I wasn't like wowed. And why? I started kind of feeling enraged. You know what I mean? Why can't we do this? Why couldn't we do that one? Why didn't we, that stuff? And then you go on social media, you see them commissioning toilets. You're seeing them commissioning a 2-kilometer road with a poor drainage system. Here you get. You see, I mean, you're like, man, rage, anger, kind of like that. So don't worry, yours will build up, and at a point, it is either you're going to suppress it, kill it, or you are just going to actually let it burn in you and say, man, something has to be done. Like me. Right? Look at this community in Kogi. They emptied the entire community because of the fear of terrorists approaching them. So that's a community in, I think it's called Yagba West local government area of Kogi State. That place where the guy called Karimi, Senator Karimi or something, comes from in Kogi State. They have been under constant attacks. This time around, they preferred to abandon their homes rather than wait for the violent attack of the Fulani terrorists. It is obvious that people have been left on their own and just do everything you can to stay alive, because if you are killed, you will still see the terrorists that killed you. So you won't see that. Okay, your family will see the terrorists that killed you sharing a drink with the criminals who are supposed to protect you, government, right? Finally, Wabi Wole Wole was somewhere in a Kota, a Teosa local government area. Today, it's 26 years, today, where they went to do what they know how to do best. Wabi Wole Wole. They said people built on waterways or water passage or something. This is what happened. Yeah. So if you are abroad, even if you are in Nigeria and you have money you want to invest in real estate, landed properties and all of that, do your diligent investigation before you put your hard-earned money on anything property, landed or built, what have you, anywhere in Nigeria. You can use that as, a good reminder of what will happen to your investment. If anything should go wrong. And it is actually so sad too that in the case of Lagos and Abuja, that we have had cases of victims who have lost their investment because their lands, their houses and everything were, were taken from them, right? So you realize that even with your papers, your document, I'm talking about original document, government issued document, there is no guarantee that that will be enough to save your investment, to save your money. So you are advised to do your due diligence. I think it's called due diligence. It's for your own good, right? So that is where we are going to draw the curtain this evening. And I want to say thank you to, hang on, take a look at my donation. Hey, Baba, Omo. So I put up my fundraiser, right? And it's been on now for how many days? 4 days, right? And all I could raise out there was 126 pounds. And I look at them like, wow. I remember that time that, you remember that time when I had to like leave Sky, and it was almost every day. Mayeku, you are doing a great job. Why? I mean, if you leave your job and do this for us full time, we will be there for you and all of that. Every time I look at how things have been over time, and I'm like, life is a teacher. The more you live, the more you learn. So I'm grateful to those of you who have always been like reaching out, all right? Thank you so much. But listen, above it all, just make sure that at least you like the broadcast before you leave, okay? Please like the broadcast, share it. And I will see you another time when I see you.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1.
Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí.
Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1.
Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube.
Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí.
Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1.
Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí.
Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1.
Mayegun Diary politico.
Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun.
Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1.
Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Presido bá rúfin o.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá tí ń gba rìbá.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Mayegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀. Mayegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
kì máa yí ṣeré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀ kì máa yí ṣeré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀ ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sè mọ́bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀bọ̀lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti dọba lórí abínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.